This video series has been developed by the Department of Mines and Petroleum for Western Australia's resources industry. It aims to help supervisors and work teams recognise common workplace hazards that have killed or hurt people. Being able to correctly identify hazards is the first step towards reducing the risk of accidents in the workplace. Most safety videos tell people how to do things. We're going to explain why. If you understand the basic principles behind what you're doing, you can adopt safer work practices and better risk controls. After all, we want everyone to go home safe from work.
This video is one in a set focusing on lifting and rigging practices. When things go wrong, if the load moves, the rigging slips, or the chain breaks, you or your workmates could be seriously hurt or killed. In this video, we're exploring why a link in a chain might break by looking at the idea of tensile strength. Chains are an important component of most lifting configurations. These versatile links are strong and durable, making them ideal for many lifting tasks. However, it's fair to say that any length of chain is, quite literally, only as strong as its weakest link. And it's this weak link, even though it may be only one in a series of hundreds, that can cause lifting-related accidents at work sites. It all comes down to a principle known as tensile strength, which is the amount of force that can be applied to an object before it stretches or breaks. We've made a chain out of plasticine links to demonstrate the basic idea of tensile strength. Let's assume these plasticine links can each carry a load of 250 grams without stretching or breaking. This wooden beam weighs 100 grams, so if we lift it with the plasticine chain, the links should easily handle the weight. Yep, all good. Each link is holding its shape, but if we try to lift an object that weighs more than 250 grams, we'd be exceeding the tensile strength of the links in our plasticine chain. This bigger wooden beam weighs 500 grams, and you can see straight away that the links are not coping. So let's put our beam down carefully. You'll notice that the links didn't break. Instead, they've stretched. While it's still intact, the chain remains functional, but it's a good bet that this weak link will be the one to fail if we lift that beam again. Let's give it a go. Yep, you can see it stretching even further. And snap. With plasticine links in a chain of only 5 pieces, it's easy to detect which link is going to be the one to fail first. But on a proper chain, the signs aren't so obvious. The types of chains used for lifting are manufactured to a specification. You can't use any chain you find lying around. There are outlets that supply proper lifting equipment. Tensile strength is an important factor in determining a chain's load rating, which is the maximum load it can hold. Each link in a metal chain is constructed from a single metal bar that has been bent to form a loop. There is a welded join in each link, and it is this join that most often fails when a chain is loaded beyond its rating. There are tiny fractures around the weld that can become a failure point. You can usually spot a link that has been damaged by overloading. Look closely. This link has been stretched. It's important to realise that if you overload a chain, it might not break straight away. Remember our plasticine chain? It didn't break on the first lift. Well, on a proper lifting chain, a stretched link might be able to handle multiple lifts before failing. So overloading a chain just once can set off a ticking time bomb. It could be you or a workmate who is in the line of fire when the chain fails. Let's see what happens when lifting a chain that is overloaded. The 8mm chain we're using is rated to 8 tonne. At our testing facility, this machine can stretch the chain to simulate the effects of a load up to 25 tonnes. We're going to apply a 10-tonne load to see what happens. Here we go. After the first lift, everything appears to be fine with our chain. A second lift. Again, no visible damage. A third lift, and this time you can see a problem. These links are starting to stretch, a clear sign that our 8-ton chain has been overloaded. Lift number 4 and trouble. If that chain was being used in a workplace and you or a workmate were in the line of fire, someone could be seriously injured or even killed, and it would have happened without any warning. That's why it is crucial that you only lift items with chains that have been rated to carry the load of that item. If you don't know the rating of a chain or the weight of a load, find out first. If you do realise that you've used a chain incorrectly by exceeding its load limit, tell your supervisor immediately so the chain can be discarded and removed from use. Trying to cover up mistakes won't make them go away, because the time bomb has already begun to tick. It's better to be honest than have to live with the consequences of an accident. Never forget that everyone wants to go home safe from work.